And shifting focus, Prince Harry's testimony against British publisher The Mirror Group in a phone hacking case concluded yesterday. The Duke of Sussex is suing The Mirror Group, accusing its titles of phone hacking and using illicit means to gather information on him. Prince Harry choked up in court as his testimony ended yesterday. Earlier, he told the court he once found a tracking device in his ex-girlfriend's car. The Mirror's ex-royal editor was also questioned. She said she couldn't recall her sources for 4 of her 10 stories featured in this case. The Mirror has denied unlawful methods when it comes to telling its stories on Prince Harry.
It was a historic occasion, the first time in 130 years that a senior member of the royal family has given testimony in court, and it was a pretty grueling occasion, I'd say, for Prince Harry. He spent 6 hours in the witness box being cross-examined by a lawyer for the Mirror Group of newspapers, whom Harry is suing over what he says was its phone hacking and unlawful intrusion in his life over the course of many years. His case is that the British tabloid press has essentially ruined his life by intruding on his privacy, by ruining his relationships with girlfriends and members of his family and friends. The Mirror Group's lawyer put it to him that he probably couldn't really remember the first time he read a lot of the stories that he relies on in his case. And Prince Harry had to admit that no, in many cases he couldn't remember the first time he read those stories. His argument is that cumulatively all of this newspaper coverage over the years is what's ruined his life and caused him great distress.
There was clearly an event that is being now trying to be kind of managed and calmed down by the authorities in New York. It is also possible that for Harry and Meghan, that this is an event which is, even if it wasn't as long and as dangerous as other people have perceived, for them it was. Enough for them to make a serious claim. And this for them is, calling things out before it gets too late, I think, which is what he's always tried to do with the media, is say, look, this is too much. Who do we believe here? The NYPD and the mayor have, obviously it's in their interests to play down what happened. This is dangerous. There was a threat to the public, is the claim. And on the other hand, it's possible to believe that the Sussexes would possibly exaggerate. Might they? This is a risky strategy. But for them, this is really serious. They make a lot of claims about the intrusion into their lives and the stress and trauma this causes, but also the danger that this causes perhaps for themselves.
Prince Harry launched a fierce attack on what he called the vile press as he gave evidence against a tabloid publisher on Tuesday. It's the first time a senior British royal has been in the witness box since the 1890s. He blames tabloids for destroying his adolescence as he gave evidence against tabloid publisher Mirror Group Newspapers, or MGN. Harry and 100 others accused the publisher of the Daily Mirror of widespread phone hacking and unlawful information gathering between 1991 and 2011. The Prince faces hours of cross-examination from MGN's lawyer Andrew Green over 33 newspaper articles whose details, he says, were obtained unlawfully. Green began by personally apologising to Harry on MGN's behalf over one instance in which it admitted unlawful information gathering. In his written witness statement, Harry denounced the treatment he'd experienced at the hands of the press, saying he'd been labelled a playboy prince and a failure. He said the press would try to destroy his relationships with girlfriends, blaming them for causing his circle of friends to shrink and leading to bouts of depression and paranoia. In another section of the statement, he said, quote, "How much more blood will stain their typing fingers before someone can put a stop to this madness?" Asked by Green if he was suggesting by this that MGN journalists who wrote the articles at the centre of his lawsuit had blood on their hands, Harry replied, "Some of the editors and journalists that are responsible for causing a lot of pain, upset, and in some cases, perhaps inadvertently, death." Harry said thousands, if not millions of stories had been written about him as Green pressed him on whether he'd read the Mirror Group articles in question at the time they were published. The 7-week MGN trial began last month. About 20 members of the public queued to gain access to one of around a dozen seats available to the public inside the courtroom. MGN has previously admitted its titles were involved in phone hacking, settling more than 600 claims, but Green has said there was no evidence that Harry had ever been a victim.